Hi, my name's Renee, and in this video, I'm going to be talking to you about how your Tanda and MYOB Account Right Live integration works. So, just a couple of points before we get started. MYOB Account Right Live is a cloud-based payroll system, which means Tanda and MYOB can sync information and talk automatically over the cloud. That means there's no need to download a file or upload a file when it comes to export your timesheets. It'll be literally pressing a button and that information will sync across to MYOB. Next thing to note is before that can happen, there's a few things that you need to make sure that you link correctly so that your payroll integration is set up and so that timesheets can export successfully. Those things include award rules, leave types, and also making sure your employees match. And we'll be talking about that in more detail in upcoming videos. Once you do get to that stage of exporting, timesheets will export to the process payroll section in MYOB. Okay, so there's sort of two ways that you could be set up on Tanda. The first way is that you're using a Tanda managed award template. So the next section applies to you. Now in Tanda, in really simple terms, once you've applied an award template in your account, so let's just say the hospitality award, the retail award, something like that, which comes with all of the pay rules or award rules already built in and gets updated automatically by Tanda each year, it'll look something like this. So here in this example, I'm on the hospitality award. I've got a set of award rules in the template, allowances, and I've also got leave types. Now in MYOB, once you sync Tanda or sync the award template with MYOB, this is what will happen. First of all, we will go through, or Tanda will go through and automatically update the base rates on employees in MYOB. We'll also create the award rules in MYOB to match the required award rules from the Tanda template. So this will all happen automatically. And the last thing is leave types. Now, you would already have leave types in your MYOB that you're using, so we don't go through and create those automatically. That comes the other way. So you will come into Tanda and go into the leave types and then link them back to your leave types in MYOB. And don't worry if that seems like a lot of information because we'll be covering all of this stuff in these upcoming steps and videos. Now, the next way is you're not on a Tanda managed award, so either you're on a completely custom setup like an EBA, or possibly you're on an award template, but you might have a few custom allowances and things like that. This next section applies to you. So unlike when you're on a template, when you click a button and we sync everything across, if you're custom, you basically have to make sure that you link everything back in Tanda. So what I mean by that, for example, you'll have to go into each employee and update their base rate to match the base rate listed on their Tanda profile. You'll also have to create the relevant wage rules in MYOB and then come back in Tanda and link those correctly. You might already have some of those created, but if you don't, it'll be a process of creating them in MYOB, coming back in Tanda and linking them. And the same applies for leave types in terms of what I discussed before. All right, so the first step in terms of setting up your integration is obviously the general step, which is where you are right now. So the general step just has a few fields which look something like this. Now, given that you're on a cloud-based system and you would have linked your account already to actually see this page, there isn't really much more that you need to do. The applies to section here is really only if you're going to be paying staff across multiple payroll integrations, making sure the export name is correct ABN. That's just sort of optional fields. If you've gotten this far and you're on MYOB Account Right Live, there's really not much more you need to do. The rest of your integration will be set up in the upcoming steps. So that's it for this video. Please follow along these steps and set up your payroll integration so you can export timesheets correctly. Thank you.